Have you ever stopped and wondered how the really big rules that run our world actually get changed? I mean, not by accident, but by a very specific, deliberate design. Well, today we're pulling the curtain all the way back. We're looking at a masterclass in influence. A plan so detailed, so methodical, it's basically a blueprint for changing the architecture of global finance. So yeah, how do you do it? How do you get governments, regulators, and a whole industry of banking giants to completely change how they operate? It's a huge question, right? Turns out, there's a playbook for it. And we got our hands on that playbook. A confidential, 4-year strategic plan, drafted by an international banking lobby. This thing lays out, in just stunning detail, every single step you'd need to take to pull off a massive regulatory overhaul. Okay, let's get into this. The big prize for this whole operation is a proposed reform they call quantitative balancing. Now, it sounds super technical, I know, but the ambition behind it is anything but small. This is the story of how you take a complex idea and turn it into the law of the land, step by step. So, what is quantitative balancing? Well, according to the plan, it's all about noble goals, stability, ethical banking. But let me break it down. Imagine a new rule that says for every dollar a bank invests in something risky, it has to hold a certain amount of super safe, boring assets to balance it out. That's the core idea they're trying to sell to the world. And this wasn't some fuzzy dream. It was a scheduled, multi-year campaign. Just look at this timeline. Every single phase over 4 years is mapped out with military precision, from building the foundation to a global rollout. This isn't a memo, it's a machine. All right, let's look at that first phase, because this is where the quiet work happens. Before you ever go public with a big controversial idea, you have to build your alliance and control the story from day one, long before it ever hits the headlines. And the starting point is incredibly methodical. First, you form a core banking alliance so you have a united front. Then, you commission supposedly independent research to give you the data you need to make your case. After you craft your message, you start the really critical part, building those informal networks with regulators. You're planting the seeds long before you ask for anything. And this just shows how sophisticated the communication strategy was. On one side, you have all the positive, public-facing words: transparency, stability, ethics. But look at the other side. Behind the scenes, they're already planning for the fight, prepping exact responses for the tough questions they know are coming, especially about how this will hit bank profits. They call this their thought leadership offensive, and it's designed to create an echo chamber of experts. You fund academic papers, you get your people on stage at major conferences, you put them on TV, you publish op-eds in the big financial papers, and pretty soon, the idea feels credible, smart, and like it's coming from everywhere at once. Okay, so an idea on paper is one thing, but the next phase is all about making it real. This is the point where the campaign has to move out of the back rooms and into the real world to prove that this concept can actually, work. And their strategy for this is brilliant. Use something called a regulatory sandbox. It's basically a controlled, safe environment where a few volunteer banks can test drive the new system while regulators watch. It's an incredibly clever way to de-risk the whole thing, work out the bugs, and get the hard data you need to prove your point. As they get ready to go live, the plan shows another layer of smarts. They don't just have one message, they have two: a super technical one for the financial pros and a much simpler, more reassuring one for you and me. And here's exactly how that breaks down. For Wall Street, they're in the weeds, educating analysts on new metrics, talking to credit rating agencies. But for Main Street, it's all about big, simple consumer awareness campaigns that hit on one powerful idea. This new thing will make your money safer. 2 totally different audiences, 2 perfectly tailored messages. So all of this, the research, the messaging, the pilot programs, it's all been leading up to this moment, the end game. This is the part of the plan where the quiet influence campaign goes loud and becomes an open push to turn their proposal into actual law. And the plan here is so direct. They don't just lobby lawmakers, they offer technical assistance, which can mean helping to write the legislation itself. They line up their own experts to testify in hearings. They build these surprising alliances with consumer groups to look like they have broad support, and all the while, they work the media to keep the coverage positive. It's a full court press on the entire political system. But here's the thing, passing a law isn't actually enough. The real goal is to make the change permanent. irreversible. And they plan to do that by weaving quantitative balancing into the very fabric of the industry, creating new standards, new certifications for finance professionals, new audit rules. That's how you make an idea stick. Forever. So, a massive operation like this, what does it actually cost? What's the price tag on changing global finance? And how did the people behind this plan even know if their huge investment was actually paying off?
$205 million. That's the estimated total budget over just 4 years. I mean, let that sink in. This isn't just sending a few lobbyists to Washington. This is a fully funded corporate campaign on the scale of a major Hollywood movie.
And that money wasn't spent randomly. Sure, building the foundation was costly, but the biggest chunks of cash were saved for the pilot programs, the real-world proof, and for that final, expensive push for implementation. They put the most money where it would count the most. And success wasn't going to be some fuzzy, feel-good thing. No, it was going to be measured with cold, hard numbers, key performance indicators, how many countries actually pass these laws, how many trillions of dollars in assets fall under the new rules, and, get this, can they scientifically measure a reduction in the risk of another global financial meltdown? This is influence treated like a science.
So when you zoom out and look at the whole picture, it becomes crystal clear. This was never just a proposal. It was a blueprint for a machine, fueled by over $200 million, and engineered for one purpose and one purpose only: to systematically, patiently, and permanently change the rules of the game.
We've just walked through the entire playbook for how to change one massive piece of our world. And it leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it? If this is the playbook, what other rules are being rewritten right now, quietly, methodically, right under our noses?